The drifter always questions the meaning of life. He wants to be a part of something. He wants to feel like his life actually matters. But ultimately, the drifter gets distracted by life's temporary reliefs, like video games, porn, doom scrolling, binging YouTube. He might think that since this is his only life, he might as well enjoy it, right? But deep down, he yearns for something outside of himself. But he's tricked his brain into thinking that video games give him some sort of achievement, only to come back to reality and realize he's achieved absolutely nothing. The player questions the meaning of life. He wants to be a part of something. He wants to do something that actually matters in life. So what does he do? He takes life by the balls, and instead of asking life what's the meaning of his life, he understands that life asks him what's the meaning of his life. In the moment that he responds to life, aka becoming responsible for his life, the moment that he's on the path towards finding meaning. Ever since I started self-improvement, I would get in these ruts and always question my existence. Okay, I'm meditating every day, I'm journaling, I'm doing all these good things, but like, where am I going? What is the point? And I've always heard all these people talk about purpose, talk about something bigger than themselves, talking about like movements. I always see on YouTube, people like Hamza, people like Iman Gaji, they're starting like these big movements. And I can't help but to like yearn for that as well, like starting something big, starting something that actually matters to this world. And it wasn't until I got better and I was on self-development that I climbed up the Maslow's hierarchy of needs all the way up to the pinnacle. And the pinnacle is called self-actualization. I'm sure you've heard of the symbol called a yin and yang, the self-perpetuating cycle of life. You can't know what's actually good in life, and you can't know what's actually bad in life without the opposite. So what does that really mean? Where does fulfillment and meaning actually come from? It comes from suffering. And you may not realize it, but all of us are suffering. I'm suffering, you're suffering, your mother's suffering, your parents are suffering, your friends are suffering. But it's not just about suffering. It's not just like this, it's not like you come to this world to just absolutely just suffer, because if you suffer for things that actually are meaningful to you, that suffering ceases to exist. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you the three main avenues, the three main ways that you can find meaning. I got this all from the book, Man's Search for Meaning. Before that, I have a free Discord and a link in the description that you can join. We have a channel in there called Purpose and Goals, and we have a bunch of people in there talking about finding their passion and finding their actual skill that they can give to the world, and I'd love to have you in there. So where does meaning derive from? What is this pinnacle at the top of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs? What does it really mean to self-actualize? You might not realize it, but purpose, meaning are not really even about you. It's about you going outside of yourself to help other people. Self-actualization, once you reach the pinnacle, is when you go beyond yourself, is when you suffer for things that are not even about you. It's like almost like this feeling, I don't know if you've ever experienced it before, but have you ever been so like indulged into a task that you literally become a part of it? It's almost like nothing else matters, like time starts moving like really fast and it doesn't really matter. You don't feel time because you and the task that you're in are just so like in lock together. This is pretty much called flow state. And when you get into this flow, most of your days will go by really, really fast. And self-actualization is this process of finding your flow state and getting into a rhythm of going beyond yourself and getting indulged into a task. Deep down, everyone wants to find meaning. Everyone wants to find that thing that their life really was meant for. But in this world, people chase this tensionless state. But a man's search for meaning is not about finding this tensionless state. It's about actively striving and struggling for a worthwhile goal that is meaningful to them. It's not even about finding peace and happiness. It's not about that. It's about triumphing. It's about going beyond yourself and striving towards something bigger than yourself, like I said. So the three main avenues include, number one, by creating work or doing a good deed. The second one being by experiencing someone or something. And the third being your attitude towards life and the meaning of suffering. These are the three main avenues I'm going to cover in this video that you can find meaning. So the first one, finding meaning in accomplishment and achievement. So what does this really mean? This means like pretty much leveling up your skills and gaining experience in the game of life. Helping people in the way that's unique to your gift that God gave you. This also means setting meaningful goals. But it's not really just about money. It's about overcoming that goal. It's about getting better. It's about evolving. It's about the work that you do. It does good for other people. It's not even about money. It's not about any of that. It's about this intangible forces inside you that makes you feel fulfilled. That you were a part of something, that your gift made you feel valuable. It made you feel like you were meant something in this world. It's serving others in a way that is unique to your character and your skill set that you have leveled up over the years, that you have gained experience in. And number one, I'm not really going to go so deep into it because it really is just achievement, accomplishment. It's getting those goals. It's giving your gift. But the next two I can get really deep into. So number 2 is going to be finding meaning through experiencing something or someone. You see, meaning is not just about finding your work. It's not about just doing tasks all day. It's about love too. It's about, for example, experiencing your loved one, your partner, experiencing them to the full extent. It's about being around your peers and just getting so indulged in the love that you have for your friends and your family. You guys are all laughing, you're all having fun. You want to create this environment. You want to experience this thing or experience people or someone. And people find meaning in that. People find meaning in creating this experience of their family being secure and tight. That's why a lot of people, they want to take care of their family. Like, they want to make a lot of money so they can retire their family. That is something that you can find meaning in. And then creating this environment and creating the situation where you can feel safe and to actually experience your people around you to the full extent. But this could also mean experiencing things out there, experiencing the world, experiencing like the map, exploring the map, meeting new people. Meaning is not just about work. Like I said, it's about loving the world. It's about loving the people around you. People actually find meaning in that. And personally, I find meaning in that too. The third avenue of finding meaning is the attitude that we take towards suffering and that we take towards problematic situations. You see, the third avenue is triumphing against pain and problematic situations. It's overcoming this problem or overcoming this hardship of yours, whether that be a breakup. People find meaning through, like, to be honest, a lot of guys, they change their life after like a really hard breakup, and I'm one of the experiences as well. I talk to a lot of guys who, it's all because of that one girl. It's all because of that one girl that like even shattered their heart. And after the fact, they go to the gym, they get better, they look smacks, they don't get revenge, but they just become a better man after that. And that is triumphing over a heartbreak. That is, people find meaning in finding themselves after being in love with someone, being attached to someone. Triumphing over that attachment, that painful attachment, is where people sometimes find meaning. Another example of this would be when people are broke, they want to become rich, and the pain of becoming broke, the pain of not having enough food, the pain of not having enough to like live, that hardship is what propels them towards finding meaning. They found meaning in getting rid of this hardship situation, this problematic situation. To be honest, humans love solving problems. So the third avenue is where people will most likely find meaning in is getting over problems and solving them and going towards the pain and the suffering and just getting better. You know, when I read the book Man's Search for Meaning, in this chapter, it talked about this man who like broke his neck and he was paralyzed, and he found meaning in going beyond himself and getting his life back together. Even though he was paralyzed, even though he broke his neck, he found meaning in overcoming that hardship of his. Like, for example, when people who are born without limbs and stuff, like, you see them, they speak on like motivational like TED Talks and stuff, and that's just so inspirational. They're like, oh, I don't know why I was born like this, but I find meaning in overcoming it. I find meaning in saying, you know what, fuck that. I'm not gonna stay hopeless and a victim just because I was born like that. And that shit is so inspirational. If someone, there's this one guy on the TED Talk, he has no limbs except his whole body and his head, and he talks on there, and he's like, I was born like this for a reason, and I'm going to overcome it. And that shit is so inspirational. And even the people who have nothing, they overcome hardship and they find meaning in that. Yet some people can't even find meaning in their lives when they have a perfect life, they have a perfect body, they have a perfect, not perfect, but they have a better life, they have a better opportunities, they have so many more opportunities, but they choose to lay in bed all day. They choose to just sit around and be soaked up into this tensionless state of peace and this happiness. They aren't suffering. That's why they're unhappy, because they're not suffering. They're not finding meaning in anything, because they are good. They don't need anything. They can sit in their bed all day. They can doom scroll. They can binge. And I was one of these people too. To be honest, I live in a nice suburban area, and I'm so grateful for that. But there was points where I kind of took advantage of that, and I took advantage in a bad way. I used that as a place for me to just, you mean not worry about anything? I have no responsibilities. You mean daddy's gonna take care of me? That mindset was terrible. And then I took advantage of it in a good way. Having this opportunity, I'm gonna use it, because someone who is less fortunate than me would use this to its fullest extent, would be so much more grateful than I am, and use it. So knowing that, I'm gonna be like, yeah, like if I have this, I'm gonna use it to its fullest extent. Why would I not? It would be disrespectful to just brush it off, be like, yeah, like this is what I have, you know what I mean? but not suffer, not trying to suffer, not going towards the pain points that I have in my life. Because you might not realize it, but suffering is unavoidable. It's inevitable. But it doesn't mean you're going to suffer forever. And you might think, okay, why did I come into this world to suffer? Why? Why is it like this? Because you wouldn't know what's good. You can't enjoy the fruits of life if you don't know what's bad. If you don't know what is good and what's bad. Because if you didn't know what's good and bad, if you didn't know what's bad, then you wouldn't know what's good. You wouldn't be able to enjoy life when you know how bad it can get. And unfortunately, in this world that we live in, especially in America, this book, The Man's Search for Meaning, it mentioned that a lot of people in America especially live this empty, voided life where in the pit of the stomach they just have no meaning because they have everything. So like then what? They have nothing to suffer for, they have nothing to sacrifice. And what they do is they are ashamed of being unhappy. They're unhappy with being unhappy. The more they're unhappy with being unhappy, the more they're gonna run away from suffering and meaning. Because they think that, if I'm not happy, then what is the point of life? That's not what it's about. It's about striving and struggling towards something beyond yourself. A lot of people are selfish nowadays, and I used to fall victim to that too. It's all about me. I want to be on self-improvement because I want to get better than this person. I want to get better than them. But it's not about any of that anymore. It's not about getting more money. It's not about any of that. It's about going beyond yourself, like I said. And that sounds a little bit crazy. It sounds like I'm on like mushrooms or something. It sounds like I'm like speaking like crazy spiritual, you know what I mean? But this process of going beyond yourself is literally just a flow state task. It's finding what you truly love to do. And what happened is when we were into this world, we already were set with our purpose. But what happened is we got indoctrinated by school, our parents, the noise, the technology, the distractions. You might not have realized it, but when you were younger, that's when you were actually doing meaningful things. You were finding your task. You were acting in a way that was unique to you. Because really think about it, when you were born into this world, that's the first time in the whole entire world that your unique self was born. That's that genetic code. That was the first time in the whole entire world that you were born into this world. And so there's something unique to you. Something too unique to all of us. What happens is we like to conform to other people. We like to be with other people. We like to follow like the sheep, the herd. We like to be with everyone else. When we were brought up into the school system, they pretty much like indoctrinated us. They told us, oh yeah, you have to do this. No. Don't do what you want to do. Do this instead. And to be honest, people can find meaning in the school system. I'm not going to hate on it completely, but what happens is school and the education system that everyone has to go to limits. It limits your way of thinking. It limits the way that you can go about life because they only give you like a little bit of a roadmap. They only give you like a limited roadmap. But I'm telling you, there's so many more opportunities, so many more ways, especially nowadays with technology, that you can be more involved with your purpose and your meaning of life. And number 3 of meaning of suffering is literally just beating levels in a video game. Like this is literally the game of life, just beating levels, gaining experience. That's what it's about. My next question to you is, if you could help anyone in the world, if you could be there for anyone and solve any single problem, what would it be? Who are the people that you are being called to? Because most likely it's probably the problems that you went through yourself. Most likely because you went through it for a reason. You triumphed against that hardship for a reason to help other people triumph against that hardship. So what I want you to do is I'm gonna give you a quest right now, and what I want you to do is get a piece of paper out, write down the 3 main avenues of finding meaning. Number 1, I'll repeat it again. Number 1, meaning creating work or doing a good deed. And this just means leveling up your skills and giving it to people that is unique to you. And then number 2 is going to be experiencing something or someone. This is more towards love for people and more love towards experiences. And the third one is meaning towards suffering. And what I want you to do is when you write down these 3 categories, write down 1 or 2 things in each category that you feel called to. Because they all tie together. It isn't just like, oh, I just go down one avenue and I stick to one thing. Because purpose is pretty complicated. Let's really think about it. Because it's a culmination of pretty much everything. Like you want to help your parents, but you also want to overcome like being broke. You want to overcome this bad ability of yours. You want to overcome introversion. You want to overcome this anxiety feeling. It's a mixture of a lot of things. So write down 1 to 2 things in each of these categories that you can do, that you feel called to. And even if you don't get an answer right away, it's okay, because just get that piece of paper out. Even you can do it after this video or whatever you want. But make sure you kind of get a good idea of what are some ways that you feel good suffering in. Like what are some ways that you'd feel good giving to people for absolutely free too. Like, just, you would do it regardless of if money was a thing or not. You would just do it because it's just something that you like to do. Because when I used to really think about it, when I used to come home from school, I used to just do absolutely nothing. I used to just sit around, go on my phone all day long, maybe do some homework, but I would just do it in school and just do absolutely nothing. I would just be inside all day. I barely had any friends. I would barely go out. My mind would be either video games or my phone and my bed. That's like the three places I was mostly at when I was in school. And when I think back at it, like, I had no purpose. I had no meaning. I didn't understand things. And so I really want to encourage you to use your free time after your job. If you don't like your job, if you don't like going to school, if you don't like the situation you're in, you have to do things outside of that to get rid of it, because that pain that you're feeling is probably something that is aligned towards your meaning in life. It's probably a line that you have to overcome this. You have to overcome that desire. You have to overcome this pain that you're feeling. Because listen to your body, listen to your heart, because you know your heart better than I can. I can't sit here and just give you a purpose. You have to, guide yourself towards finding it, because you can only turn inwards. You can't find meaning on this video. You can only turn inwards. I can give you some sort of direction on how to find it, but I can't tell you what it is. It is only up to you. So listen to your heart, listen to your mind, and sit down with a piece of paper and think about some ways that you can suffer, that you can find meaning in the things that you do every single day. And usually, if you really need help with this, like, think back to your past, before the indoctrination, before your parents told you need to do this, you need to do that. Think about what you used to do all the time. For me personally, when I used to think about it, I used to always just want to just create situations and create environments that were like just fun. I would always conceptualize this idea in my head and try to bring it to reality, as in like outside in like my backyard with like me and my cousins, we used to get our Nerf guns and stuff and like walk around and create like a map like we're playing a video game in like real life. And I used to just find so much joy in that. Another thing when I was little is I used to have so much compassion for things. Like, it was insane. Like, whenever I would like accidentally like kill a dandelion, like that flower, I'd pick it off. I'd get upset that I just killed the dandelion. Like, I was so innocent and like I cared for like pretty much everything. Also too, when I used to like play with like my toys, like my mind and my vivid, like my imagination used to be just insane. Like, absolutely, I used to just conceptualize. I used to just see things that were not actually real, but like inside of my head, and be able to conceptualize them. Think about some things that you were doing in your childhood. Maybe you like drawing, maybe you liked being outside, maybe you liked being around your family. Because you might not realize it, but that was the start of you finding your purpose. But once the school system and life told you, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, then that got taken away from you. And that's probably why the reason that you aren't happy, that's probably why the reason that you're on this video trying to find meaning, because you have no meaning, because you haven't been aligned to it at all, which makes sense. So I hope this video has helped you. Make sure you sit down and look inwards towards finding meaning. I gave you like the map and the roadmap and the blueprint. Now you have to find it yourself. Actually take the time to sit down with yourself, because you are your biggest asset. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't know where you're aligned to, you're going to end up in somewhere that you never wanted to be in, and then you'll be even more miserable. Then you'll have to overcome it even harder. Like, it'll be even more difficult for you to get out of it. So find your purpose, find your life task, find your meaning ASAP. Find it as soon as possible. Stop getting distracted. Stop going out there smoking weed and playing Fortnite. Stop going out there and just doing that dumb shit that really just distracts you from life. Because you will, like, I'm telling you right now, if you actually find your meaning, if you really find your task you're really good at and that you could just be a part of, life is just so good. It feels so good. Life becomes so much more brighter. When I sit here and say to you that life really is just a game, let's really think about it. You're born into this world. You can level up, learn new skills, meet new people, explore the map. You can learn new things. Like, you're born in this mysterious world. Like, you don't know as much as you think you do. So go out there and be an adventurer. Go out there and get lost in things that bring you joy and happiness, but not things that are artificial, that are made by man, like video games, porn, binging, these artificial things. Because God, right? God made you with this innate ability to get lost in real things, in real tasks. He made you with a purpose. Do not forget that. Whether you believe in God or not, you are made with a purpose. A lot of people have this like nihilistic view about life that, oh, life is meaningless, like life has no purpose and stuff like that. But it's quite the opposite, because if it really was meaningless, then we wouldn't have suffering. We wouldn't be able to suffer. Because what is the point of life if we're just suffering? Because there is good after the fact. And if you are trying to find meaning, look more inwards. Look at yourself in the mirror and really ask yourself, What is something that you can dedicate your whole entire life to? And so I'm gonna leave it at that. Make sure to continue your journey and keep moving forward.